And my camera is out again. Sweet. Let's see here. Oh man, I can't change the white balance while I'm working. Oh well. Anyway, all these trucks in here, they're getting loaded before we out here get unloaded. Last night I got here at about 8:30 or so. There's nobody else here. That was awesome. So I'm first. Woohoo! But last night I went ahead and took all the straps off and about probably 75% of the bungees, because I only had like maybe 10 left holding the tarps on the load last night. And it's a good thing I didn't take the tarps off because it rained last night. And this guy's backing out of the driveway. What fun. Just don't back into my truck. So anyway, I am on a recap again, which basically means...
Messaging. You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time. You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of...
You said that already. You said that already. You said that already. Anyway. I have full hours to run today. 15 hours on my 70-hour clock. Now, I keep telling everybody I'm going to explain these hours of service, but I never do. So I'm going to do that right now. As soon as this guy quits beeping. Thank you. Okay. You have 4 sets of hours. The 70, which is 8 days long. 14, which is basically... You start your clock at the beginning of the day. That clock is constantly counting down until the end of the day, or if you take a 10-hour or 8-hour break. If you do an 8-2 split. I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, okay. So the 14 continuously counts down throughout your day, which is why I hate it, because it continuously runs me out of hours before I'm done driving. The 11-hour clock only counts down while you are actively on the drive line, as in the D, line 3. Oh, get out of my face. The 8-hour, which is the most ridiculous thing in the history of hours of service, constantly counts down from whenever your last on-duty status started, until you take a 30-minute break, and then it goes back to 8 hours. And it'll constantly stay at 8 hours as long as you are not on duty or driving. But the 11 and 14 still override it. So it may say you have 8 here, but your 11 or 14 will be gone. And that's pretty much it. The 70-hour can get a reset only if you take a 34-hour reset. You stay off duty or in the sleeper for 34 hours. That one, the 34-hour reset, they really screwed that up when they introduced the 8-hour break as well. Or the 8-hour rest break on duty, whatever. The 34-hour reset used to be you could take it anytime, anywhere, any day, any hour. So you could do it like in the middle of the week, on Wednesday through Friday morning, and then do it again over the weekend. They don't let you do that anymore. Now, the 34-hour reset has to be 2 consecutive periods of 1 to 5 a.m. And you have to have 168 hours, which is 7 days, between the ends of each break. So that basically means if I get home Saturday morning, I'm not getting a 34-hour reset, because there's not going to be 2 consecutive periods of 1 to 5 a.m. because you have to do that. So if I want to get a 34-hour reset on a weekend, I have to stop Friday night before 1 a.m. So I guess that would be Saturday morning. And I have to stay until Sunday morning at 5 a.m. because that's, let me think. Yeah, that's actually about a little over 48 hours, but anyway. No, that's not right. If I were to stop at like 12:59 in the morning, then 34 hours later, which is 12:59 in the afternoon on Sunday, I could go again, no problem. But I can't take another 34-hour reset until 12:59 the following Friday. And it has to go until 12:59 on Sunday. No matter if you gotta leave early, you still gotta wait. Unless you just want to recap like I'm doing. Recapping is where you basically use these hours, but you get back what you used last week. So this hours to be gained right here, 1021, that's hours I used last Monday. And I'll get them back on my 70-hour clock at midnight. In 2 days, so this is 725, I used 7 hours and 25 minutes on Tuesday of last week. And Tuesday night at midnight, I'll get them back on this clock. So basically, recapping, all it is I have to pay more attention to my 70-hour week-long clock. Because it's constantly changing on a day-to-day basis. So, there you go. That's hours of service. Split logging, that's a completely different animal. Basically, you can take that 10-hour break that resets your day and split it into 2 pieces. 8 hours effectively stops your 14-hour clock. So let's say, let's see, you get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, drive 2 hours, it's now 12 o'clock. You go back into the sleeper for 8 hours. So you use 2 hours of drive time and 2 hours of on-duty time. Right? So 2 hours of your 11-hour clock and 2 hours of the 14-hour clock. You take an 8-hour break, you effectively have those 2 hours taken off of the 11 and 14. But that's it. And you can keep going after that 8-hour break for another, well, let's say you drive all the way, you can go for another 9 hours. No big deal. But, well, somewhere in that 9 hours, you can take a 2-hour break, and you'll get those 2 hours that you used back. Well, I just made that confusing. So, you take that 8-hour break, let's say you take 8 hours. Then you go and drive another 2 hours. So, you now have 7 hours on the 11-hour clock and 10 hours on the 14-hour clock. Now, you take a 2-hour break. That completes your 10-hour reset, but you used 2 hours before the 2-hour break, which was after the 8-hour break. Okay, so if you take a 2-hour break, your time reset from the end of that 8-hour break. So you drove 2 hours after the 8-hour break, that 2 hours is gone. So after 2 hours of, well, no, because the 2 hours counts against your 14-hour clock still. So you'd still only have 10 hours on your 14-hour clock, but you'd have 9 hours on your drive clock. Yeah, that's how that works. God, it's so confusing when I try to speak it out. This clip is too long. I'm up to 8 hours and 59 minutes. 8 minutes and 59 seconds. Jeez, I need to start speaking right. Well, this is the end of this clip, I guess. So yeah, that's hours of service. Well, as you can see, I got totally screwed over. Sitting here for the last 2 hours and 47 minutes. Not because I was slow to get loaded. No. Because of their scale. Okay, I weighed in at 30,680 pounds. Alright, no big deal. That's about what I usually weigh when I'm full of gas. And I am. So I weighed in. Go get my load. Put the, well, okay. They went to scale me out without putting tarps on to begin with. I scaled out. I was 80,100 pounds. 100 pounds overweight. Okay. That I can work with, you know? I can burn off 100 pounds of fuel. No big deal. At least not too big of a deal. I mean, it's still illegal. We're getting past little technicalities here. I'd be out of 100-pound range in a couple 100 miles. Anyway, so I go back there, I throw the tarp on. Or we throw the tarp on. We have to do some special crap to get the tarp on. 2 lumber tarps, no big deal. So we do that, I go back to scale out again, Suddenly, I'm 1,540 pounds overweight. What the heck happened there? So we had to go all the way back in and pull the bundle off. After pulling the tarp back, pulling the straps off, putting the straps back on after the bundle gets pulled off, putting the tarp back on, and that equates me sitting here for the last 3 hours, not even coming close to making that destination in a decent amount of time. It is 2:30 in the afternoon. I have all of 8 hours left to drive. Yeah, needless to say, I'm screwed. I was so set up too, because the first time I scaled out, I still had like an hour left on the 14 before it took into the 11. Now I'm just screwed. So yeah, I'm gonna take a run for what it's worth and do what I can. That's all I can do.